Please give a big round of applause to Natarajan. Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
One side it presents opportunity, other side it presents threat. And it impacts businesses in three. And 2015, the average lifespan of a company appearing in S&P 500 has shrunk to 15 years, from 62 years to 15 years. What does it indicate? It indicates many things. One is technological advancements. Second one is mushrooming of new players. Third one is consumers are evolving, right? All these things make the life of a business model to come down. What do I mean by business model? Business model is the process that you have for creating value to the customer, delivering value to the customer, and capturing value from the customer. See, the processes you have which have worked well yesterday may not work well today because of the changes that are happening. You have to keep reinventing yourself, right? External change is outbeating internal change. What do I mean by that? It is not that people want to lose out to somebody else. They are doing something to improve, but the pace at which they are changing is not enough. The external change is outbeating internal change. Why Secure Retail Excellence 3? Forbes Top 100 in 1917, when somebody had done a survey in 1987, where are these 100 companies? Survived of 39 out of 100. 61 companies have exited in a span of 8 decades. And outperformers were only 2 number. And only 12 are outperformers. If I am to tell you some other brands or products that have exited, how many of you use fountain pen here? You have fountain pen? You don't have it. That means you don't use it. How many of you use alarm clock to get up in the morning? Alarm clock, not cell phone, right? You use it, okay. How many of you have used the Kodak film roll? Kodak film roll. Many of you must have used. I see a lot of youngsters here. They might have not have used. 150-year-old company. They have gone bankrupt in 2012. Like this, I'm sure most of you would have used the STD booths in India. Every street will have 2-3 STD booths. Where are they today? Right? So the business model is continuously changing. Fortunately, in jewelry industry, jewelry is being purchased for many reasons by customer, not for one reason. One is it's like bringing goddess Lakshmi to the house. The second one is it's a status symbol. When you go for a party, you can flash the jewelry and go. Third one is adornment. And fourth one is it comes handy during rainy days. When you don't have money, you can pledge the jewelry. It's as good as cash. You can get it. So jewelry industry, though it has its own challenges, it is still shining like a gold and diamond. So, past success, with all the examples that we have seen, cannot guarantee future. Your business model, which is working today, whether it will work tomorrow, right? It's in question mark. So, we need to manage the present as well as keep some time for creating future simultaneously. Coming specific to jewelry industry, right? I'm sure, this is how the jewelry industry has evolved. And I remember my father buying jewelry for my sister's marriage when I was young, maybe late 60s or early 70s. Every town will have a jeweler, right? It will be sold from the house. You have to go to his house and due respect to Marwadis and Jain communities. They are the people who are doing it. They'll have a handmade catalog. You have to choose the design, pay money. Then in their backyard, karigars will be working. They make jewelry and give you. Then it came to local standalone stores. Then big brands like Tanishq, Malabar Gold, Kalyan, so many things. And now online. And the regulatory changes are happening. Lab grown diamond, mandatory hallmarking, GST. These are all posing a lot of challenges to jewelry retailers. And what next after 2010? Whether it will stop here? No. Perhaps if I let loose my imagination, 10, 15 years later or 20 years later, I don't know. The way cell phone, when it came to India, early 90s, it was costing 70,000, 80,000 rupees. Today, it's available for 2,000, 3,000 rupees. The 3D printing machine, today, what is costing $2,000 might be available for $100. Everybody will have, and the chat GPT would have become so popular, it will teach the jewelry individual how to buy gold powder, how to make design. Social media he exchanges. He will not come to jewelry showroom at all. I wish it doesn't happen, but you have to be prepared for that. So what are the challenges faced by jewelry retailers? Handling evolved customers. The customer is no longer can be taken for granted. He is evolved. He knows everything. And he has choice in abundance, right? So many retailers are available. So many e-commerce sites are available. Retaining customers and growing the customer base, it's a big challenge, right? So, because of what I had said, his investments are going up. He has to showcase more variety to the customer, more inventory, invest in e-commerce. His spends are increasing, advertisement, rental, power, employee cost. His margins are shrinking, right? His margins are shrinking because of more discounts, melting loss, frequent new product introduction. If not done properly, it leads to melting, more inventory, interest burden because of higher investment, right? So what should be done? Why should we secure retail? In whatever we have seen so far, changes are becoming exponential. Life of a business model, we had seen it shrinking. Jewelry industry is evolving rapidly, we had seen that. And this poses new challenges to jewelry industry, right? So what needs to be done? You have to manage present. Whatever stage you have done something very good. That's why you are in business, you are making profit. You should retain that, right? You should not forego that. You should retain that. And selectively forget the past. At the same time, you should have mind to learn something new to create future. And what is relevant for jewelry industry as of today, as we see it, is the 4 golden rules. Securing, that's what I'll be talking about in the next half an hour's time. In fact, we have authored a book called Demystifying Retail, right? Using the 4 golden rules last year. So jewelry retail, before coming to the golden rule, jewelry retail characteristics, if I am to say, it has got a long tail, right? What do I mean by long tail? The x-axis is time, y-axis is percentage sold. So as the age of the inventory becomes older, the sale from that will come down. 1-year-old jewelry, the stock turn, if you look at it, it could be 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. Fresh inventory, if you look at the sale, the stock turn could be 7, 8, 9. Right? Does it happen? Yes. So, jewelry business has got a long tail. We have surveyed many jewelry retailers, and it's an average of what I'm showcasing is an average of what we had seen. Right? So, the x-axis stands for age of inventory. Y-axis, you have two things. Blue color curve stands for sale, and orange color curve stands for inventory. Right? So, this for plain gold jewelry, right? Less than 60 days. 60 days and below, if a jewelry sells, we call it as a head inventory or fast mover, right? So about 20% of the stock in less than 2 months over a period of 1 year will give you 45% sale. Similarly, I mean, 60 to 180 days, we call it as belly. Another 30% of the stock will give you another 30% sale. So cumulative 50% of the stock gives you 75% sale. And then you have followed by tail and non-moving. The best thing here is that the first 50% of the stock gives you 75% sale, and the second 50% of the stock gives you only 25% sale. And who had selected the second 50% of the stock? It is you. You have selected the design, yes or no. That has become non-moving. That gives you only a stock turn of 0.8 or 0.9, whereas this fellow gives you a stock turn of 8, 10. So the process that you are using for selecting the new merchandise, whatever process you have, can it be looked at in a different way, right? That's what we'll be seeing. So not all products are equal. What do I mean by that? Supposing in a day in your retail showroom, you have sold 20 variants, right? Those 20 variants might be, some of them might be from the head age band. Some of them could be from non-moving age band, right? So what do? The moment it sells, we buy new products, irrespective of which age band from which it has been sold. Does it happen? Do you agree? Does it happen? Yes. So that is wrong, right? That is the reason why the non-moving is like, you are responsible for this 25% non-moving. 25% is the minimum thing I'm telling. We have seen in our consulting experience, there are companies which have got 55% non-moving also, right? So what should be done? To be a leader in jewelry industry, the long tail curve, we should have processes for shifting it to the left on an ongoing basis. When you shift the long tail curve to the left, what happens? The head becomes tall. You'll have more of head inventory. The belly becomes flat and the tail is cut. So you become healthy. So your retail business will become healthy the moment you shift the long tail curve to the left through the right processes. So in order to move that, first we have to store planogram. What do I mean by that is the assortment planning that you have in your showroom. Must have been historically done by somebody, right? Is there a way that we can revisit whether our assortment planning is right? Then processes for managing head, tail, belly and non-moving, which I'll be touching in the next half an hour's time, and manage newness and season. I'll come to it. Now, dynamics of managing head, belly, tail and non-moving. Inventory freshness by treating all products alike. Like I said, when 20 products sell, you buy 20 products, irrespective of which age band it is sold. When you do that, there is something called age of the inventory, which is a very, very critical metrics in retailing. Average age of inventory. What do I mean by that? If 1 kilo inventory enters your showroom today with the age of 1 day, it's called 1 kilo into 1 day. If 10 kilo inventory is there over 300 days, it's 10 kilo into 3, you can arrive at the average age. Using the formula, if you do it, when you treat all products alike, the inventory freshness is 6.9 months, right? When you use the right processes, right, the non-moving will come down to 5% from 25%. From belly, tail, it will come down from 25 to 15, and the head stock will go up. When it happens, do the same calculation, the average age of inventory is 4.1 months. When the average age of inventory reduces, what happens? Your freshness improves in the showroom. Supposing, you have a budget of 500 rupees. You're going to a fruit vendor. The fruit vendor owner, he knows you. He says he welcomes you. But you find 30% of the fruits to be bad. You have a budget of 500 rupees. To satisfy him, you will buy for 50 rupees or 100 rupees. Then you will go to the next showroom, next fruit vendor to buy. Same thing happens in jewelry also. We can't take the customer for granted. Unless the customer knows which inventory is fresh, right? Supposing he comes to your showroom with a wallet size of 5 lakhs, you have no measure of knowing whether he has shelled out all the 5 lakhs or not, right? But the inventory age, when it is less, there is a probability that he'll buy more from you, right? So inventory freshness, we should reduce, improve it on an ongoing basis through right processes. When you do that, you'll get better wallet share. And when the wallet share goes up, the word of mouth from the customer will spread. This retail showroom, I find fresh jewelry. That will bring fresh customer walk-ins and sales and profit will go up. Let's see how the sale and profit will go up. For the first example, where I had sent inventory 6.9 months, if I assume 50 kilo of inventory is giving 200 kilo of sale with a stock turn of 4, when you bring down the inventory freshness to 4.1, 1 month, using the same stock and the same stock turn ratio, the sale would have gone up to 295 kg from 200 kilo. Stock turn would have gone up from 4 to 5.9. Am I making myself clear? Is it understood? Yeah. Now, improving inventory freshness increases sale and stock turn by 50%. You don't have to do anything different, right? Once you have set right the planogram and you have processes in place for managing head, tail, belly and non-moving, it is good. But to sustain that on an ongoing basis, it's important that you should have right processes for new product introduction. After setting right everything, new product introduction should address how many times you need to introduce new products. How much quantity of new product you need to introduce. There should be science behind it. And what are all the new products you need to introduce? Again, you should know which category, which subcategory, which price point, and what design you need to introduce, right? Without which, unless you do it in a systematic way, the hard work that you have done in having processes for head, belly, tail, and non-moving, having corrected the planogram, it'll go for a toss overnight if you don't have the right process for. Similarly, season. Jewelry is a seasonal business. Come Deepavali, Dhantera, Akshaya Tritiya, wedding season, it happens every 3 months the season comes. Unless you manage you upstock during the season. But at the end of the season, some other category price point would have got sold out and some other category price point you will be left with excess stock. That will affect you by doing fresh purchases for the stock which you need. Does it happen? Yeah. So season also, our flow software guides you as to how to manage season. So what are the 4 golden rules? Let's come to it quickly. The first one is identifying fast movers or the head items and processes for ensuring the availability of fast movers. I'll come to what I mean by availability in a while. The second one is processes for constructing the right assortment planning and processes for non-fast movers. Anything over 60 days if it sells, I call it as a non-fast mover. What is the process you should have to replenish it, right? Then processes for introducing new products, then processes for dealing with non-moving inventory. Let's look at it one by one. Now, identifying fast movers. What are the guidelines? When do you call a variant as a fast mover? The thumb rule that we are following is that it should have sold within 60 days as far as the plain gold is concerned. In 1 year sale data and stock data when we analyze, supposing the turn is from that variant is more than double of your store stock turn. Let me assume your store stock turn to be 4, right? And there are some category, subcategory weight bands which are giving you 8 plus stock turn. I call them as head items, right? So, and minimum, supposing you have a chain of 20 showroom, this phenomena should have happened at least in your 40% of your showroom, right? For it to be qualified as a fast mover. The second one is processes for ensuring 90% plus. What is availability? I mean, where the fast move processes for ensuring 90% plus availability. What do I mean by availability? When a fast moving variant sells, you place an order for it. You you might place the order for the same item or something else. I assume that you place order for the same item. What happens? You take about a week to place order. The vendor takes about 2 weeks to supply back to you, right? Supposing the item sells within a week of reaching your showroom, in a month, 1 week it was customer facing, 3 weeks it was not there in the showroom. So it gives you a stock turn of 12. With what is the availability percentage? In a month, 1 week. So in a year, it's available only for 12 weeks. Just by being available for 12 weeks, 12 by 52 could be around 20% or 25%. With 25% availability, you are getting 12 stock turn. Supposing it's always available in the showroom, not by keeping multiple stock, by some other means, then the stock turn could be 50, 60. Right? We have seen it happening. Is it clear? Yeah. The third one is processes. There are processes. A fast mover that you have identified will never be a fast mover forever. So there are processes to identify when the fast mover is not a fast mover category, and when you are introducing new products, right? What happens is that some of the new products will turn out to be a fast mover. You should have processes to capture that, right? So all these features are available in Flow is the name of the software that we have. It's available for handling the fast movers. Then the second one is Planogram. Planogram is the backbone of retail. Assortment planning, the right assortment mix you should have, right? So how do you know whether it's the right assortment mix? You have done with experience, but it said that there is always a room for improvement. So how do you improve? How do you know whether the assortment mix that you got is the right? That's what we'll be seeing, right? What is the right inventory? I mean, on y-axis you have lost sale potential, x-axis you have inventory. Assume this is the right inventory. When you have less inventory, there will be walkout, right? People will walk out. Inventory is not enough. When you have more inventory, what happens is that we call it as inventory saturation. Choice overload you are giving to the customer. Customer will get confused. He'll walk out. But it is easy for me to put in this graph a red dot saying that this is the right inventory. How do you arrive at it in reality? Right? We'll see that. Arriving at the right inventory. How many of you have seen Kaun Banega Crorepati? Right, every one of you. There is a thing called individual brilliance and collective wisdom. What do I mean by that? I'll talk about two lifelines. One is phone a friend. Other one is audience pool. A research where when you're in a hot seat, right, I would have gone with a list. If a question comes from politics, I'll ask Mr. Ashutosh, right? If a question comes from sports, I'll ask Subodh. If a question comes from science, I'll ask Prabhakar, because I feel that they are good at that. So, when I call, the research says that only 35% of the phone a friend have got the right answer. The experts are good, but the expertise does not help always. What is collective wisdom? It's audience pool. 92% of the time, the audience pool has guided the person in hot seat with the right answer. Coming to jewelry parlance, the assortment planning must have been done by a merchandising team. I call them as individual brilliance, or a store manager. When you have 10 showrooms or 20 showrooms, the real data analytics will tell you which category, subcategory, price point, which showroom is doing better and which showroom is not doing better. Like for example, if I take an example of gold bangle as a category, and machine cut bangle as a subcategory, 12 to 16 grams as a weight band. If you have 20 showrooms, when I collect data of last 1 year sale and average stock, it could so happen that one showroom with 500 grams of bangle in that category, they might have sold 3 kilo. Another showroom might be having 1 kilo of bangle. they might have sold only 1.5 kilo, right? Then when you pull stock from that 1.5 kilo, make it 1 kilo, zero point 0.5 kilo, give him another half a kilo, he'll sell more. The same inventory will start performing better. So benchmark, you collect data from all showroom, benchmark to arrive at the right merchandise mix, and you'll know in a showroom which category, subcategory, price point is doing well relative to other showrooms and which is not doing well. We call it as a 4-quadrant analysis. We take the group average sale, supposing 20 showrooms are there, those 20 showroom for a bangle category I had said, 12 to 16 gram, you add all the sale divided by 20, you get the average sale. You plot it here and group stock turn. Total stock, all 20 stores put together and the sale that has happened, you can arrive at the stock turn. That's on x-axis. Then individual showroom, whatever is their achievement, you compare it with the group average sale and stock turn. And if it is low on both stock turn as well as sale, we call it as a slow moving category. You don't need to carry too many stock. You can withdraw some stock from that. When the sale is high, when the turns are low, when compared to the group stock turn and group average sale, you have excess inventory in that place. You can pull out some inventory. Sale is more, but the turn is less. So you can pull out some stock. Third one is where the sale is low, but the stock turn is high. Just imagine the sale is low, the turn is high. You can add stock there. You can pull stock from 1 and 2 and give it to 3. Your sale will be better. Overall sale will be better. This is a high appeal category. So when you are introducing new product, one is this 4-quadrant analysis helps you to arrive at the right assortment planning. Second thing is, whatever category price points which are appearing in quadrant 3 and 4 for a given showroom, when you introduce new products only in those quadrants, your sale will be better, right? There's no point in introducing new product in line items which are figuring in quadrant 1 and 2. So, evaluate line item performance across similar stores. If you have 20 showroom, perhaps 20 to 30 crore turnover band, you'll have 5 showroom. 30 to 50 crore maybe. You can't compare a 20 crore showroom with 50 crore. We do that mapping, right? Evaluate line items performance for each category, plot that 4 category, and our flow software module is well equipped to recommend the right planogram for you. After we get the average actual sale, line item wise, store wise, and the actual inventory from which we can compute the average inventory of that particular line item. The third one is processes for alternate replenishment. Sale of item other than fast movers. 60 days and above, when an item sells, how do you do it? What is the category price point it has been sold? What do you generally do? You either go to a vendor and select item. When you select item, the item does not have any sale history. It might sell, may not sell, right? And that is the reason why you have 30% non-moving inventory. While due respect to the person who is selecting, he could be a buyer or a merchandiser or a store salesperson, but his accuracy is only 70%, 30% becomes non-moving. Assume that you have a design bank. I had sold bangle, machine cut bangle 12 to 16 gram. I'm looking for an alternate. Supposing I get access to 10 more designs with the sale history written there, right? This bangle design has sold 40 times. This bangle design has got 20 times. This bangle design has got sold only 2 times. Which one you select here? Which one you select here? New one is one, and new one does not have a sale history. It can become non-moving. So you tend to select an item which has got more sale rate so that the probability of it selling, right, will be high. It will not become non-moving. Am I making myself clear? Yeah. Now, Flow software has got design bank module. We can work along with you in building a design bank for you. New products, right? New products introduction is an essential part of retailing. Must be guided by right processes. If it is not guided by right processes, what happens? And they become the accumulation of obsolescence. They're the starting point for obsolescence if you don't introduce new products rightly. So there should be a structured process for new product introduction, starting with how much of newness is required. Do I want 30% newness, 40% newness, 50% newness, 100% newness? You have to find the answer to it. Once you have found the answer, what should be the percentage of newness, then which category price point you have to introduce that newness. And the third one is what design you need to introduce as new product, right? Then that helps you to build the design bank. So it's all about constructing a design bank. How to determine the size of the design bank? Supposing you have 20 showrooms and the largest showroom which gives say 100 kilos of stock and it gives a sale of 400 kilo in a year. And if I say the largest showroom has got 5,000 variants, right, individual variant, and you are selling 25,000 variants. Out of that 25,000 variant, we can compute and find out how much is sold from the head age band. It could be say 12,000, right? So head age band, if it sells, you have to replace the same item or take an item from the central stock. Non-head age band, when it sells, which is 12,000 in a year, right? Design bank should have 50%, 6 months. When I sell, I should have options at least for next 6 months. So 6 months requirement, non-fast mover sale, line item wise, 6 months option. The 12,000 variant can be broken into category, subcategory, weight band wise. Whereas for a necklace of 200 gram, it could be only 3 design bank. Whereas for a finger ring of 4 to 6 gram, right, it could be 100, right, totaling to 6,000, right? Then how to create a design bank? The moment we have computed this, supposing for a line item, again, for simplicity's sake, let me take an example of category bangle, machine cut bangle, 12 to 16 gram. Design bank requirement is 30. You should call the vendor base and tell them to showcase 3x of 30. 90 design they should showcase. That 90 should be brought down to 60 by your store staff and merchandising team. Then you should have a unique loyal customer meet to bring down that 60 to 30. Once you do filtering process of new product introduction, then the probability of it selling is much better. How to keep the design bank dynamic? I mean, it's not that design bank dynamic. That 6 months that I had told you, which will be options available for the design bank. After 6 months, 1 month requirement needs to be added every alternate month. And from that 6 month design bank, whichever is the non-performing designs, it has to be removed so that the design bank size remains at 6,000, right? Our flow software enables all this. Advantages of design bank: with time, flow will capture. Flow is the name of our software. Design pick history and design sale history. Then will enable the retailer in choosing design which has the best sale rate, right? Once it happens, then ordering against sale will happen on a daily basis. Today, some retailers order once in 15 days, once in a month, right? If you have a discipline of ordering what has got sold in that same category, subcategory, and weight band, supposing you are the fast moving item, you replace it with the same variant. And the item selling from non-head age band, you look at the design bank and pick. On a daily basis, the sale can happen, right? So this will help in minimizing the percentage of non-mover. And the second option that I had said, from 25%, the non-mover will come to 5%. And from 6.9 months, average age of inventory would have come down to 4 months, right? In Tanishq, when I was there, when we started introducing these processes, the average age of inventory was 187 days. In 15 months' time, the average age of inventory came down to 92 days, right? That is the impact that this process can create. Golden rule 4, the moment it gets into a tail, what I mean by tail is 6 to 9 months age band. The moment it gets into 6 months, the probability of it selling is very less, right? So our flow software will give color codes. 6 to 7.5 months, it will give you an orange code, and 7.5 to 9 months, it will give you a red code. So every day in a showroom, it will update these 10 items have moved from belly to tail. So you can change the color of the tag for those 10 items and instruct your salespeople on allocating discounts accordingly. Activation incentive can be based on the color code, right? Flow software enables this. Lastly, coming to managing non-movers, non-moving inventory is generally to the tune of 30% and it gives a turn of less than 1, right? Our recommendation is that liquidation, the moment flow software will tell you from 270 days, the moment 271st day, when an item enters, it will prompt, right? If you melt it and bring it back as a fresh product, your margins will more than double. How I'll tell you? 1 kilo of non-moving stock, supposing it gives you 0.9 stock turn. In a year, keeping 1 year of stock, you get 900 grams of sale, right? Whereas, if I melt that 1 kilo and bring it back as a fresh stock, the overall store stock turn, if I take it as 5, you will get 5 kilo sale and the freshness will improve. 5 kilos, when you melt 1 kilo, there will be some losses. You are making charges that you are given, you lose. But the 5 kilo sale will bring you much more gross margin, more than compensating your melting losses, right? And our flow software has got features to monitor it. And coming to a brief on the flow software, perhaps I'll request Prabhakar to come and talk to you. And thank you so much for your patient listening. Thanks a lot.
Constraints Consultant by Goldman Sachs School Israel, certified expert on TOC by TOCICO and is associated with TOC for the last 22 years. He has been personally mentored by Dr. Goldratt since 2004 and was closely interacting with him until 2011. Prabhakar sir was working as a country director at Goldratt Consulting between 2007 and 2015. Prabhakar sir was instrumental in spreading the awareness of TOC in India over the last 2 decades. He has published several articles and has delivered numerous lectures on the topic of TOC in several esteemed forums. Prabhakar sir is currently the founder, director of Strategy and System Consulting and Focus and Flow Technologies Private Limited, which he founded during the year 2015. Through his consulting companies, Prabhakar sir and his colleagues are involved in several comprehensive TOC consulting projects across several industrial verticals such as fashion jewelry, fast-moving consumer goods, consumer durables, automotive OEM, capital machinery, pharmaceutical, heavy engineering, fashion retail, etc. At his lecture time, Prabhakar sir enjoys taking long walks and listening to music. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time, and the floor is all yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for your generous introduction. Good afternoon, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for your valuable time. I must first thank Mr. L.R. Natarajan for giving a wonderful introduction to the 4 golden rules. What I will now do is probably finish the final leg. The final leg of our presentation, because he was referring to the flow software very frequently in his lecture. So I'll just try to give a small introduction about the software so that it gives you an overall view to you as a participant. We study their processes, we study their businesses, we do a lot of data analytics. I mean, eventually we propose a business consulting solution. But solution and processes alone will not sustain the initiative in the company. Therefore, what we did is we also developed a software which is going to help the company to sustain this initiative on a long term. Therefore, that's the context under which we developed this software around the year 2015. It's not working. Yeah, thanks. So, it's basically industry-wide software. It's not specifically made for jewelry retailing only, because theory of constraints is a universal philosophy. It can be applied to all walks of life. It can be applied. These principles are very much applicable for manufacturing, not only jewelry manufacturing, but also automotive components, capital goods, name it. You can apply these principles in all forms of manufacturing and also all forms of retailing as well. Whether you retail jewelry, whether you retail consumer goods, electronics, whatever may be the format of retailing, these principles and processes can be customized and evolved. Therefore, this is a generic software, and its modules are kind of applicable for different kinds of walks of industries. And as we started working with a lot of jewelry companies, jewelry retailers, very reputed players, then we thought, let's develop a unique module totally dedicated for jewelry retailing. So that's the context under which we dedicated an exclusive module. Whatever Mr. Natarajan was presenting as 4 golden rules, and he was also referring to the software then and there. All this particular module, which is dedicated for jewelry retailing, covers all the aspects of the 4 golden rules. And it has been implemented in quite a lot of jewelry retailing companies right now, and a lot of our customers are using this software. Basically, to very quickly, I don't know how many people of you are tech-savvy people here. Just to let you know, it's an open source software. We have developed it consciously on open source so that there is no, if we select a closed source software, then there are a lot of commercial implications to it. Therefore, we developed it as an open source so that the basic construct of the software comes free. And of course, there are other kind of commercials, but basically it does not have any license-related commercials attached to it. Therefore, it's an open source software, and it is it's developed, designed consciously to be hosted in the world-reputed AWS server. Many of you might be knowing AWS, Amazon Web Services as a company. They provide third-party server. It's hosted under a very secure environment, and it has got pretty safe environment where, the commonly known as hacking and all that, right? It's not too easy to make it under this particular, in this particular architecture. It's not so easy to hack it. We have consciously developed it so that the whole software is very, functioning safe and secure. It has got a lot of functionalities and features. Sorry. Whatever Mr. Natarajan was covering during the last 45 minutes in the form of 4 golden rules, it fulfills all those rules and logics and algorithms that are being said under the 4 golden rules. And as I said, a lot of small retailers, mid-end retailers, and large jewelry retailers are using our software and have benefited a lot by implementing the 4 golden rules. So it has got also, to mention, special mention, it has got some special features on the artificial intelligence side. We have developed, keeping in mind the jewelry uniqueness of the jewelry retailing business. We have used certain artificial intelligence techniques and algorithms to help the jewelry retail industry. So such modules are also available. Besides the other aspects that Mr. Natarajan was covering in his lecture. So this is about the software. So anyone who wants to explore more about our consulting services or about the software can reach us through these coordinates that are mentioned here. You can visit our website for much more detailed information. All the information about our methodology, our brochures, our steps, about the golden rules, all of them are mentioned on our website. So whenever you find time, do visit our website and you can get more knowledge about it. Thank you very much, please. Thanks a lot for your kind and patient listening. Really appreciate your valuable time. Thanks a lot.
The floor is open for queries if anybody has a query. Sir, I have one. Sir, I went through this process of aging and design. How do we restock it and stuff? So what happens when, like, I do a online business, so I have this queues, and then I know this inventory is at this queue is moving faster. But the smaller retailer, they generally there are very few designs which they repeated. Otherwise, most of the designs are new. Every time it's coming new. So some might fail to cross to finish it 90 days and they go for 300 days. Because in the smaller retail segment, there is not a specific design which keeps changing every time. So how does that work? So it basic on the concept of that design, you need to make sure you plan your inventory.
Yeah, I'll respond to you this. The inventory that has got sold in less than 60 days, closely, right, with folded eyes, you replace the same variant. The customer is buying a design. Customer is not buying a category, subcategory price point. When a customer has shelled out 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh in buying a bangle, the same customer, it's not a FMCG good where everyday customer comes. They come once in 2 years or twice in a year. So you have to replace it with the same one. That's rule number 1. And for items selling from non-head age band, the concept of design bank we can extend to them. So that's a way you shift the long tail curve through process to the left on an ongoing basis. And your turns will go up, your sale will go up.
And sir, I have a question like in terms of, first of all, congratulations, very revolutionary software, very revolutionary concept and put together, I think, all your team, it must be 30, 40 years of rich experience which has come into play. Two questions. One is that suppose a customer has come and she has picked up a ring and she comes back, is very unlikely she may pick up the same ring for herself. How do you address that? Secondly, is about the what are the costing of your software for a medium and a small retailer? Thank you.
Yeah, I can respond to the first question. Prabhakar perhaps will take the second question. A finger ring, right? Your 30%, at least 25% of the merchandise will be finger ring. If 50 kilo stock is there, you'll have about 12.5 kilo of finger rings. So which means you have varieties. But in that variety, only 30 to 40% of the stock will be selling in the head age band. By replacing it, still he has got, supposing I take a average weight of the finger ring to be 5 gram, 12.5 kilo by 5 gram. Rajgopal, how much it will come to? 12.5 kilo by 5 gram. How many varieties will be there? Huh? 2,500. In the 2,500, 500 will be fast moving design. Still he has got 2,000 more. And he is going to come only after 6 months. Every day they are not buying. It's not like a milk or a fruit or a vegetable. Right? For the other person who is coming in every day, new customer, that is something new to him. That is how the turn will go up from 12 to 60 or 70 by replacing the same item. Hope I made myself clear. Absolutely, absolutely. And second, yeah. Yeah, please.
I just wanted to ask, like, you said inventory turnover should be there, like increase in inventory.
Come
And,
again?
like, increase in inventory
Without increasing inventory.
without My question is that there are fast movers as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes what happens for 2 to 3 years, the same like design is there. But after like so many years, one customer comes and says, "Yes, I want that design only." So, what's your answer for the dead stock? If there's some dead stock or some the same design, should we keep it or should we replenish it? Like, I'm not.
I
able
would
to
say that you follow the simple rule. What sells in head age band, you replace it with the same item. And when you buy it again, it might sell again in the head age band, less than 60 days. The moment it is not selling in the head age band, naturally you'll go to the design bank. If it sells in the non-head age band, the same design. Okay. Am I making myself clear?
Yeah,
Simple rule. If you have one showroom, if you have multiple showrooms, there are many other ways of handling it. If you are having one or two showroom, what sells in a plain gold item less than 60 days, replace with the same design. Next time again it sells, again you replace it. Same design. Next time sells, again replace it. If it is not selling, if it sells after 100 days, go for a new design from the design bank.
Thank you so
Right?
much.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Sir, how flexible is this software for a beginner or who is on the traditional platform?
Well, I mean, if I look at jewelry, you have an assortment. You have different categories in that subcategories. In that subcategories, you have weight band. In that weight band, you have width of designs. 10 designs in one weight band, 5 designs in another weight band. It is same, whichever is the jewelry. The kind of designs might be different.
Not the jewelry thing, sir. Jewelry business owners who are at the traditional platform, how flexible is this software to
Absolutely.
use?
Understood,
Yeah.
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 So, if I understood your question, kindly correct me.
Family jewelers, is it
Yes.
extendable? 100% yes. We are already working with 18 jewelers
Okay, sir.
all over India, right? And they are happy with that.
See, it's a very, very flexible. The flexibility is huge. But at the same time, I'm just saying on the other side, we also observe with small retailers, right? They must have some kind of a business transaction system, what we call as ERP, which generates the daily sales data, in which you are also recording your incoming new design stocks, right? The store stocks. Whenever you add new designs into the store, there must be a transaction in your ERP or an IT system that you are functioning with as of today. It must record all these things. What are the designs that are coming into the store? What are the designs that is going out of the store in multiple forms? Either a sale or maybe, a vendor return or whatever. So the in and the out, the flow of the design must be captured currently in your local ERP system. That information is key for feeding into our software for it to process and enable you to follow the 4 golden rules. But besides this, it's extremely flexible. As far as you have the basic data in place, it can work with 1, 2, 4. And in fact, it has worked with, I don't want to name the company for obvious reasons. It is working with a 300 store company. It is working with a 35 store company. It is working with a 3 store company. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
My name is Abhay, and I have understood about your software about retailing. But then I also want to understand that how is it going to help a wholesaler or a manufacturer?
He will take.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wholesaler, I mean, again, the same concept of fast movers. I mean, today, as a wholesaler, I mean, how do you pick new designs? How much of new designs you pick? How much stays back as a non-moving with you? Right? Instead of retailer sells and buys, the same 4 golden rules can be extended to wholesaler also. Right? You have to track, of course, your retailer, I mean, you don't have to track the sale at the secondary retailer's end. Supposing I give you an example, you are supplying to 100 retailers, right? Out of the 100 retailers, one retailer has got maximum stock, all in one state, right? He has got 100 kilo stock, whereas others have got 30, 40, 20 like that. That 100 kilo retailer will need newness of 30%, 30 kilo, right? At 30 kilo broken into various price points in a year. Divided by 12, you will come to know at what price point, how many new designs are required by him, right? So you can come extend the same logic to the distributors also. Today, what happens is that the manufacturer showcases so many design. I don't know your process. You pick, right? Whatever retailer takes, he takes, right? Whereas you can bring in a science to it using these 4 golden rules. Same thing can be extended to the wholesalers also.
The concept remains the same.
So your inventory can be shrunk, and fast moving inventory you can identify. The same thing blindly you can buy from the manufacturer. You can also educate the retailer on whatever we have said. If it sells within the head age band, I have it in stock, you take it immediately. Same thing can be extended, and your turns will improve.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One or two last queries. Does this have an API? I have a current existing software for accounting and inventory. So it's not on the cloud. So can it take an API and connect through that?
I didn't hear you properly.
So I have an existing
Yes.
software where
Yes.
it takes care of the inventory as well as the
Yes.
accounting. But it is not on the cloud platform. It's on
That's
the.
okay.
So it
Being
can
on the
take an
cloud is
API
not-
and take data from
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. It's only a data transfer.
Okay.
Our software is on the cloud.
It's on
But,
the cloud, okay.
It's not a prerequisite that your current ERP to be on the cloud.
Okay.
Not required.
Second query is I do sales with a lot of marketplaces. So can we have an API which will take data from there?
Absolutely.
So all that will be taken care of. So
Absolutely
you will
possible.
directly pick data from there.
Absolutely.
And multiple marketplaces can
As
be
far
done.
as your software is ready for data sharing through API, API is possible.
Software is ready for sharing, but it is not on the cloud.
Not required.
Not required,
That's why
okay.
I said your software being in the cloud is not a prerequisite.
Okay.
But your software must have the cleanliness in terms of
Yeah,
data hygiene that's
Yes,
being
yes.
maintained in the software must be in place
Okay.
for the API to be effective.
Okay.
If that is in place, well, we can do that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any more queries? Okay.
Cost, I will leave it because it's not like a tariff that we have. Because we provide a solution, right? Business solution. So I don't want to make it as we don't sell the software alone, to be very frank with you. It's a comprehensive business solution that we provide. We provide the consulting services to make the consulting services effective and kicking for you, meaning delivering results for you. We provide the software. So it's a package. Of course, there is a cost to the software, but as a part of the consulting service, we don't sell software alone. Because selling software alone, it will be too difficult for you to handle without understanding the nuances. We are using a lot of words. There is a lot of logic inside this. Without understanding the logic, you can't use the software alone. I hope you understand, right? The 4 golden rules. The fast movers, how to handle the non-fast movers, the design bank, all that, planogram. All this is about putting in place systems and processes in your stores, right? In your retail stores. Until otherwise that is in place, this software is only to support that process. Therefore, directly, if you buy the software, you will not be able to use it correctly.
So if I am to add to what Prabhakar had said, like he had said, as long as you have the data captured in your ERP, right? As long as you are able to provide the last 1 year sale and stock data to us, all the synthesis can be done and we can start guiding you. Implementation, for the result to start coming, implementation will take 6 to 8 months, right? Preparing ground for taking the benefit from the software. Then next 10 to 12 months, you would have substantially improved your business. And initially, we charge a consulting fee for that 6 to 8 months, depending on the size of your company. After that, there is a subscription fee for using the software forever. Yeah.
Big round of applause for Natarajan, sir. Sorry. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your quality time.